This is video 75, Empire Total War, United Provinces, played on hard. We're continuing from the previous video, 74, when we were engaging in diplomacy. If you remember, we've taken Paris now, so France has completely collapsed. The trading port, well, I say trading port, it's actually a commercial basin in Marseille, has enabled me to have lots and lots more trading partners. So what I'm doing now is I'm starting off this video where I finished off the last. Loads and loads of diplomacy all over the place. Denmark, for some reason, just don't seem to be keen on trading with me at all, whatever I do. I'm leaving these in because I know it's a bit too much of what you've already seen perhaps, but I cut out a lot of this in all the other videos that I show, so this seems to me to be a good opportunity to show people, you know, how you can bargain with people, because a lot of people don't bargain. They just say, oh well, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you can actually make offers, and those offers do work. And if you remember on the previous video, I said we are technology rich. We've stolen a lot of technologies, which means we are in advance of other people, and even when we're not in advance, we're different. Nations tend to steal research in areas that are particularly relevant to their own area. So France, for instance, might research agriculture. Prussia will research land military technology. Britain will research naval technology. So if you've stolen from the British naval technology, then you can sell it to perhaps the French or whatever, you know. And then alternatively, the land technology of the French you could sell to the British, because they don't have their own, you see. So you have a bargaining point of view. It's a bit like a market, really. But anyway, you can trade. Sometimes you offer a little bit of money as well. It's worth it. And it can take a long time to do this, but it's an element of the game which can be quite good fun, because you can get quite a bit of money out of it, and it's interesting to hear what they come up with. Often they'll come up with unlimited access to your land, you know, which sometimes I'll agree to, in fact. This is all the trade now that we've built up. You can see all the diplomacy's paid off. You can see what the income's going to be. Our income at the moment is extremely poor. It's under 2,000, because we're paying for armies to inhabit France, of course. And I've raised another military unit in Ceylon, and we weren't doing too well anyway financially. We were being propped up by the action of our fleets. So really, we need to be sort of thinking about anything that will increase trade income, and that's exactly what I've been doing. Just looking also now at how we can change, alter, increase the amount of taxes that we take. Ceylon, unfortunately, is taxed absolutely to the hilt. If you go to your lists, bottom right, that will give you a quick look, a scan at all those that are red, yellow or green. Green means that they're perfectly happy. Yellow means they're on the brink of not being too happy about taxes. And red means that they're going to rebel, or at the very least go on strike. So anyway, as I say, we're in the winter. You can see it's winter because of the white there, and it's 17-16 at the moment. There's a fine balance over recruiting new or improving old. If you want to move troops somewhere else, then it's sometimes a good idea to improve the old, because they will improve as they're moving. Whereas if you recruit troops to move them, it takes a turn, at least, sometimes two for some troops, to even recruit them. But if it takes a turn to recruit them, there's a turn wasted, and then you move them on the next turn. Whereas if you're recruiting to a reduced unit, then you can be recruiting to that as you march, which is very handy. You could, in other words, you could move the unit straight away. So I could replenish a unit, recruit to a unit in Paris that's only got, say, 20 men. So it'll be gaining another 100 men. I can march it all the way down to South France. It can take 2 moves. By the time it arrives there, it'll be 120 men, because it'll have increased in size. Alternatively, if I were to recruit a brand new unit, it would be 1 move before I could even begin moving it. Okay, what you can see now is the various parts of the French economy, a lot of which I've ruined personally in the past. He's got to a stage where he hasn't been able to, or he hasn't been willing to, repair those particular buildings. He was obviously getting weaker and weaker and weaker as I was draining his economy, but whilst it was taking it out of him, it was also taking it out of me, because he was unfortunately always attacking me, never ever gave up attacking me, and I was continually having to take care of those units. At least this way I'm getting some tax out of him, and I'm going to continue taxing him as well, regardless of the fact that he may well rebel. As I explained in the previous video, we might even want him to rebel. So we're moving over now to the summer of 1717. I'll show the principal moves in the turn end. I'm not going to show them all because there's little point. This is the British move, of course. Next is the Austrians before the Spanish, so I will show the Austrians because it's a normal continuum, isn't it, from Britain through to Austria. Sorry, Britain through to Spain via Austria. No France, of course, to show anymore. They were the ones that used to come after Britain. Right. I don't really want war with Austria, but I might have to take one of those ships if I get any poorer. So we'll see. Spanish, notice, bringing an army out there from southern Spain. They've disappeared because we don't have visibility there in the middle of Spain. That army will more than likely be marching on Marseille. Now there's a fleet, or a ship. Is it one or two? Can't quite make it out from here. Sailing very, very close to my fleet. So that's a tempting little target for me, that. One not to be missed. Anyway, here we go, turn end. We've got a new gentleman there we need to deal with. He's in France, of course, so we're going to move him over to our Amsterdam school, so he can help in the technology for the plug bayonet, which we're looking to raise at the moment. There's another advantage, I suppose, to taking France. I get a gentleman out of it. That's the building I was constructing in Ceylon, and those are the troops in Ceylon, improved troops, the VOCs. They're the merchant company troops, they're equivalent to regular infantry. Still stealing research, never miss an opportunity to do that. Incidentally, when I'm trading research, I tend to try and do it with a nation that's a long way away from me, or I give them the kind of research that's not going to be dangerous to me. So the last thing I do is give the Spanish the plug bayonet, for instance. Yeah. We look at France, you'll find that it's still very, very dissatisfied. If I try altering the taxes, those are the overall European taxes. It alters them a little bit, but not enough. Probably do me good to improve the overall taxes of Europe anyway, make the rest of Europe grow a little in size, in population. The lower your taxes are, the more chance there is of them growing and being generally happy, because the tax burden can build up as well. So it's as well to drop it every now and again. So having France now, I'm not going to untax France and keep Europe high. What I'm going to do is keep France in the tax system, expecting it to rebel next turn. I do need to make sure, of course, I've got appropriate troops to be able to handle that rebellion as well when it occurs. This is the building that I destroyed last turn, if you remember. This is the Catholic church, or whatever, seminary I believe it's called. I destroyed it last term. I'm building it this turn as a Protestant one. This here is the pleasure gardens, and makes a big difference if you improve that. Something like +4 or +5 to happiness. And you can see the church just to the south of France as well, which I'm building there as well. That's where his university used to be. Don't think I can... oh yes, I can just about afford to improve that. That gives me food and happiness, welfare. Well, food and welfare. And there comes the end of this video, as we move towards Marseille.